Good evening. Thank you to everyone that is joining me tonight. So if you are here in the live tonight and you have any questions about any of the things that I am talking about, then please feel free to just go ahead and ask it. If you are watching this after it's already screened, thank you so much. And feel free to leave any questions you have in the comment section below, and I will be sure to address those. So this week I will be discussing not necessarily like how to save seeds. That's a completely different story. This is all about how to do your seed swaps. So I'm going to just start off with what is a seed swap. And so a seed swap is where you find other people that have seeds that they've either bought or collected themselves that they want to share. So you have a list of seeds that you have that are available for swapping. And then you will have a list of seeds that you are looking for or think that you're looking for. Hi, Lionecrest. Hello, E3 Farmstead. Thanks for coming. So I'm going to hold off a little bit on too much of the nitty gritty until just let it give it time for a few people to pop in. Have either one of you ever done any seed swapping before? And what's the name of that other, is it the flip side? Seed. I was going to mention that too. Flip side seed. Hey, Stinky Puddle. Nice to meet you. Not meet you, but nice to see you. Nice to have you here. I think we're all, it's funny to me because it's like, I've just gotten my first ripe tomatoes. I actually had my first tomato sandwich for dinner tonight. It was absolutely delicious. I took a picture of it. It was so pretty. Very, very exciting. Thank you. Good to see you too. Yeah, so I'm like just now, like a lot of my flowers have been blooming for a while. My zinnias just started last week. I'm still waiting on my hibiscus. My tropical hibiscus opened up today. The first one, tropical, not my hardy. My hardy hibiscus has not. It's still got a couple weeks before I'm going to see any of those. So for me, I'm like just kind of in the beginning to middle of the gardening season, but I know there's a lot of you in the warmer zone, because I'm in a zone like 5B, 6A, that are like, you're wrapping up. Like you're pulling your tomato plants out, you're done, you're fall planting, you're thinking ahead. So you're in the seed saving stage. And me, the only seeds I can go out and save right now are a few snapdragons, and some petunias. Like that's it. So I hadn't really, been thinking about it. Also, and I was like, ooh, we gotta get on the swapping soon. Start to get your lists in, because then by the time I get around to wanting to do my swaps, all the good stuff's already been gone. So the first question I was just going to discuss is how to find a seed swap. And I'm going to tell you right now that the best thing you can do is to find something local. As local to you is probably the best. It's going to be the most economical. Shipping or postage. I know in the US it's not a big deal. Here in Canada it can get kind of pricey. But also, like, you can just pick it up too. I did some local swaps here, and it was just people just drove over, we met up, and there was no postage involved at all. The other thing is the varieties that you're getting, the seeds that you're getting might be better acclimated to your area, to your climate. So that was one thing, like when I ordered some bulbs last year, there is a town just south of us that we're kind of like right on the border of Brampton and Mississauga, and they sell bulbs. And I thought, well, this is a great place to order bulbs instead of ordering it from the West Coast or the East Coast or somewhere in the States, because they're going to have been in my same climate, my same soil, my same crappy clay soil. The same, temperatures and weather that I've gotten in the winter. So I do like to be able to find, especially perennials. I love getting them from the garden swaps, because I find, that they just do so much better because they've lived and grown in your area. So the seeds you're going to get off of them are going to be better acclimated for you. So I'm just going to say hi to the chat. We have Fleetwood Patch came in. Hello. Thank you so much. And a Sweet Spot. Good to see you. Good to see you. I know I'm a little bit earlier this week, but I wanted to make sure I had time to get any questions covered. The other thing you can do is you can look for Facebook groups. So there are Facebook groups that cover, all of North America. If you're in Canada, I'm in several different Canadian only seed swaps. There's US seed swaps. The thing is, you have to keep in mind is the legal aspect of who, where, and when you're allowed to send seeds to. So there's no issue sending seeds all across Canada and to the US. There's no issues at the border with that. There is an issue with you cannot send live plants. You cannot send live plants, bulbs, or tubers across the border without I don't even know what the license, because I know a lot of companies like Floret don't bother. They will not sell to Canada. So that is something to keep in mind. But the seeds to US and Canada is not an issue. I have no idea what it's like in other countries. So if you do want to it's very hard to say seed swap repeatedly. If you do want to swap with someone from another country, then you need to look into the legalities of that. I do not claim any responsibility for any of that. So another way, so the Facebook groups, you can go with just like a broad Facebook group, or you can find more of a local one. Like just type in your city and seed swap. There might be a local garden club. They might be interested in doing the seed swap. Set up your own seed swap if you can't find anybody. Hey, Broke Farmer, thanks for coming. Hi, Gigi, thanks for coming. So there's another I mentioned it, I think, in the previous live that I did, but it's an event called Seedy Saturday, and I'm going to I forgot I was going to pop in the link. I think they have them all across the US and Canada. I know we have them here. You just go on their website, and I'll put the link in the chat. You go on their website and look for your city or your area, and they will have it. They went virtual this year, so that wasn't as exciting as in the past. But basically what it is it's just kind of a small little gardening trade show that gets put on usually in January, February, March, somewhere in there. Usually like at a local rec center or something, put on by the city. And you'll have people in there with different booths selling different seeds, selling different plants and products that are garden related. There's usually a kids section. And then at ours, like right in the middle, they have some seeds that are donated. So like all of the Snapdragon seeds I got a few years ago, they were like 25 cents for a little bag of seeds. And then they have one table where you can swap. So you bring in your seeds and your little packages, however you want to package your seeds up. And you go to the lady, and then you're able to swap seeds for free. So, but I don't know how regulated it is. I never did do any of the swapping there. I only just bought seeds at the Seedy Saturday event. So that's another place to keep in mind. Who else has come in? Oh, hi, Slava. Kitchen Garden Therapy. Anyone else new that I haven't said hello to? I don't want to be rude, but I don't want to. I actually have like notes. I have notes. I wanted to make sure, because I started, I've done some basic seed swapping in the past, friends or just here and there, people in the gardening groups, because I have been active in the online gardening community before I joined Facebook, before Facebook was even really a thing. I think I joined there's a big magazine here in Canada, the Canadian Gardening Magazine, and they had a website with a chat forum. And I joined that back in, that was before I even had Gizmo. We got him in 2006. So I'm going back probably 2004, 2005. I joined that chat group. And so I got to know a lot of the local, Canadian gardeners on there. And then they, dismantled the chat group. They weren't hosting it any longer. And then they started the Canadian Gardening Board over on Facebook. And so it was a lot of the same people. And so there's a lot of people in there I actually have as friends on my Facebook page that I've met and I've known all the way from back there. So I've done some, trades with them, but it wasn't until last year that I really kind of went a little crazy with the seed swaps. So I had ordered some seeds in August. I did a small order from Baker Creek, a small order from Rainbow Seeds, because I knew I really wanted a lot more seeds and planting a lot more vegetables than I had been in the past. Getting seeds last year was very, very difficult. The only place I was actually able to buy seeds was like the dollar store. And then my husband was able to get some beans a little later in the season at Home Depot. So I was just like, I don't want to be stuck in that situation. And so I ordered the big seed catalog from Baker Creek, and I had all these, my eyes were huge, and all these varieties of seeds that I was watching people grow. And, I got hooked on all these YouTube channels last year and was watching all these things everyone on there were growing. And I had this huge list of what I wanted. And it was just, cost prohibitive to buy the seeds of whatever I wanted. And honestly, I didn't need that many seeds, and I didn't want to spend that kind of money on it. And so enters seed swaps. So I joined a few Facebook groups, and I made a list of the seeds that I had available. And at first I thought I would just put the seeds that I had collected myself. So I just had some of the tomatoes and some of the herb seeds. And then as I got into it, I realized people were like, Baker, I know that catalog. Oh my God, it's amazing. If you haven't splurged on the whole seed catalog. So they send out a free, Baker Creek sends out a free catalog if you're in the US. If you're not in the US, you have to pay, it's something like $5, $6, $7, I think, to cover the shipping or whatever. And so then last year I discovered that if I pre-ordered the seed catalog, I only had to pay $9. So it was only a few dollars more than just the freebie one. So I pre-ordered, I think I paid just under $10 for it. And I read that thing cover to cover, like it had a plot. It was amazing. It was just, it's absolutely beautiful. The photography in it and the stories in it, like they went through the history of the poppies, and it was fascinating. Anyways, okay, so I decided, there was all of this stuff that I suddenly needed, and I didn't want to have to be, shelling out the money for it. So, oh, hey, Danny, thanks for stopping in. You're putting the kids to bed. You're in and out listening. No problem. So, feel free to, if anyone has any questions at any time, just, raise your hand, feel free to ask me. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat as well. Yeah, so I started, I made my list of what I thought I wanted. And then I noticed, people were posting pictures of things they had and things they were offering. And suddenly my list of what I wanted increased immensely. I got into some of these seed swaps, and at first it was like, oh, well, I'm just looking for this and this. And they're like, well, how about this? And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. They're like, oh, you got to try it. You got to try it. I'm going to tell you right now that these seed people, the pushers, all right? So they won't take no for an answer. If they have something that they want from you, like I had a few different, this is the thing, is I did have some high quality, not high quality, high in demand seeds last year in my seed swapping. I had loofah seeds, I had cucamelon seeds, and I had jelly melon seeds. So when people found that out, they would be like, oh, I need this. I need the loofah seeds. I need the cucamelon seeds. And then I'd see their list, and it was just, sometimes it was just something that I wasn't interested in, or I was, one thing I wanted of theirs, they wanted 3 of mine. And I'm like, that's fine. Like once I'm paying a stamp, I don't care if I'm putting in, 1 or 5 packs of seeds. It's not a big deal to me, right? So, but they will push it. They will push it. They're like druggies. They're like, here, oh, you got to try this one, or you got to try that one. And, sometimes they like force, or they'll put extra seeds in the pack that you said, no, I don't think I have room for those, or whatever. They're like, oh, they really want you to try it. So it's a really fun community. People are really like overboard wanting to share their seeds. And it's opposite of, feeling like you're being taken advantage of. It's more like you almost feel like you're taking advantage of them, because they're so giving, and really, oh, you got to try this. This was amazing. I loved it. You have to try it. Everyone has to grow this. So just be mindful of that you might end up with, 3 times as many seeds as you planned going into a swap, depending on how aggressive the person is. So anyway, it's sweet potato seeds. Sorry, broke. I can't, I don't think I can do that, send that from Canada. Otherwise, I would try. Sorry about that. Oh, ask Guten Gardening. If anyone's going to have sweet potato seeds, it's that guy. Okay, so the swaps. So I'm going to go into a little bit more about etiquette. Each swap group has their own rules. Make sure you know the rules of that group that you are swapping with, because some people are extremely uptight about the way a swap is run and other people are pretty loosey-goosey, right? So it's a joke from an all. Okay, so oh, hi Veggie Farm, welcome. Yeah, so just make sure that you are aware of the rules, and each person you trade with, you can kind of negotiate in the trade. So like, let's say I have 3 seeds that you want of mine, but you only have 2 of mine, 2 that I want. Like, if I'm okay with that, go ahead and make the trade. But some people were like, no, no. If you are taking 3 of mine, then I need 3 of yours. And so sometimes I had to go in and be like, I'm going through like my seed packets of stuff that I bought. I'm like, oh, do you want some of these? Do you want this? So just keep in mind, everyone's a little bit different. And, I think people are worried about getting taken advantage of, but I honestly, I think most people are more than willing to share. They're excited to give out their seeds. And I ended up doing over, I think, like 56 seed trades last year. Told you I went a little crazy. And I didn't have any seed swaps go bad. Like I didn't have any that I didn't get the seed. Some of them were delayed. One of mine got delayed in shipping. I was like, oh my God. And I sent it again. And then they ended up with both packages. I had one package of seeds that accidentally slid down under the seat, and I didn't realize it until a couple weeks later, and I was pulling something out, and I'm like, oh my God, no wonder they never got it. So mistakes happen, accidents can happen, but I didn't have a single seed swap that went wrong. Everyone that said they would send it out, sent it out. So what am I going to say here? How many seeds? That's the biggest question. How many seeds do I send out? How many seeds do I send out? So the average number of seeds depends on the size of the seed and the type of seed it is. So the average seed, like let's say tomato seeds, pepper seeds, just kind of your average size for a regular variety is about 10 seeds per little baggie. So this is an example of the one I posted the link to the little envelope. If you download, I will post the link down here below as well. I have it. It's I believe I did it in Google Documents, and you can download these little. Sorry, that's like floating in the water now. These little seed packets, you can just print them out and then kind of cut them, fold them up, and make them yourself. Which, if you're you're running low on supplies and you're just going to be doing a few swaps, then that's all right. But if you're going to be doing a ton of swaps, I don't recommend it. It's way too much work. So this year I went and bought some packages of these. These are 10 for $1. I'm going to look at the dollar store. I'm going to look and see if I can get them a little bit cheaper. But honestly, I plan on just cutting these in half. So I will cut them in half, and that will be plenty big for most seeds. The only time I would leave them whole like this is for large seeds. So maybe some kinds of varieties like squashes, pumpkins, some larger sunflowers, canna lilies, maybe even 4 o'clocks, large seeds like that. You might want to use the larger container. Now, if you have really, really tiny seeds, like say snapdragons, petunias, things like that, honestly, just pour them in. No one's counting that out. You're not going to sit there and count out 10, 15, 20 of these little tiny seeds. I just pour them in, onion, anything tiny like that. If it's a very large seed, like last year, I had some moonflower seeds. They are very, very large, origami level. I wish I had them up here, but I think a lot of my seed packets have gone. There was a lady last year that she had little origami packages. So they were like self-folded envelopes, and you just unfolded them, and inside were your little seeds. It was the cutest thing ever. I don't know how the patience. I pray that she only did like 2 or 3 seed swaps, because she would have gone totally nuts doing that. So yeah, I will post a link down below to those little envelopes. This is the small size, and this is the medium size. Oh, I'm trying to figure out how to get them close to my face. There we go. So this is the medium. This is the small, and there is a larger one too you can print out as well, but it's really big. It's really not necessary, I don't think, for very many seeds to do that. So let's say you have some specialty seeds and people are buying for it and you don't have very many. That's when you can negotiate, right? Like, so last year I had some moonflower. Everyone wanted moonflower seeds, and they took forever to ripen. And when I did harvest them, I didn't really have very many. And so people were fine with just sending like 2 or 3 in a swap. And then you would still get like the full supply of whatever they were giving you. So if I swapped 3 moonflower seeds, I would still get the 10, tomato or pepper seeds. So you do just want to make sure that, check the rules, see if there's a list in the rules that says how many you have to give. But most often or not, you can kind of trade with people. And then some people will kind of like, they'll have their better seeds that they kind of, hold on to. They keep them close to the chest until they see something they really, really want. So if you have a variety like that, a variety of tomato, that's very, very rare, and people are okay with it, I mean, you can send out 2 or 3 seeds in a package if you have limited supplies. So it's pretty much just, figure it out with the people, but make sure you figure it out before you, finish your swap and before you mail everything out, because the people that are running the swap are not responsible for that. So this is for person-to-person swaps. If you are in a group, there are some, I always wonder, do people prefer a resealable plastic baggie or small paper envelope for their seeds? See, that is a difference. And so, like, if your seed gets wet, then yeah, plastic would be better. Most people do store seeds in paper, like the seed companies do come in paper. If you have seeds that you have saved and you are not like 100% sure that they are dry. Do not put them in plastic. I had one out of all the seeds. You can see the picture there. I don't know if I even counted. Out of all of them, I only had one pack of seeds that did come in plastic that were kind of moldy, and I had to toss them. So that was kind of sad. But none of the ones I got in paper was a problem. So honestly, I had people send paper. I had people send plastic. I had one guy, actually a couple people who did it in, and I don't even know how they did it, because they did it in like little tiny sections with like a vacuum seal. So they like vacuum sealed the seeds in, and then they just in little tiny sections. So it was like a sheet like this, and it had like maybe, 15 different kinds of seeds all sectioned off and marked with a Sharpie on them. So I don't know how they did it. It worked really well. It came beautifully. So honestly, just whatever you're comfortable with. Like if you have them all in paper packages, and then it's like, depends on the weather too. If it's really, really rainy, if it's really rainy out, Wesley Webbits. If it's really, rainy, or you're worried about it getting wet, then you can put those all in like a Ziploc bag and mail it out. I personally, I don't really have a preference. I'm fine with the paper or not. Also, when you're doing the tape, my tip that I learned is to use washi tape. So if you go to the dollar store or Michael's craft store, you can use washi tape, and it doesn't stick. Like it sticks without tearing the paper. So it's easy to use the tape over and over and reseal it. If you just put like a piece of Scotch tape on there or glue it shut, then people kind of have a hard time opening it, and then they can't reseal it. So using the washi tape makes it resealable. Lion crest. I got 3 purple teepees. I've noticed the market is weak. I tell you what, if you get me 13 sugar baby watermelon, we might just be able to. Exactly. It's bartering. It's negotiating. It's yep. It's fun. I receive seeds I ordered from Etsy in plastic bags before. There you go. Well, that packaging is curious. It sounds like some sort of heat application. So yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if maybe they had like a tool, like a little, I'm thinking like you could even maybe use like a flat iron or something. I don't know how he did it. It was quite impressive. I should have asked him. I store my seeds in kind of whatever, like I actually used these specimen jars last year. We were doing a job at a there we go. We were doing a job at a doctor's office, and they were remodeling, and they were throwing out a huge bag full of sterile, brand new, unused specimen jars. And I looked at my husband. I was like, ooh, that is perfect for storing seeds in. So a lot of my seeds, these are my asters from last year. And then I'm looking right here at my white hibiscus. So these are my white hibiscus. See, I got a ton of seeds off of the white one, and then the red one, I hardly have any left. So yeah. So however you store, just as much. I said washi tape. It's used for crafting. You can buy it on Amazon. You can the dollar store. Do not get the ones that are thicker and kind of. Oh, I wish my daughter was here. I'd have her go get. We have quite the collection of washi tape. Here, this is like a main website. I am in no way affiliated, and I have never ordered from them. I buy mine usually at Michael's or wherever at, but this is what it is. It's used in journaling a lot, because you can put it onto the paper and you can take it right off the paper and it doesn't do any damage. I actually should have brought some up here. I wouldn't be surprised if I have some. If I see some handy, I will show you. But it's really pretty, like little decorative paper. Oh, well, thanks for joining us, Monica Katie. I'm glad you saw that we were on. It's the specimen jars. I know. They're clean, they're sterile, they're sanitized. I know. So whatever people sent me in last year, I just kept the packaging in that. I sorted my packages, my seeds by time that I would be planting them. So all my cool flowers went together. All the things I was planting in January went together. All the things in February went together. And I just left them in the initial packaging that people sent me. And honestly, there was no issue or degradation, paper or plastic, whatever you can use. So yes, at the dollar store, you can also get those little, they have like just little mini bags, little plastic zipper bags in the craft section, and people use those just fine. Just keep in mind, I did notice with some of those that the writing, even with a Sharpie, can kind of wash off. just with the friction of coming through the mail, some of them rubbed off. So if you are going to go the plastic baggie method, you might want to just write the name of the seed as well inside the packaging. Another thing you have to make sure is that you want your seeds to arrive at their house in good condition, right? So you want to make sure that they don't get crushed. And that was an issue we saw last year. And I even saw people in the gardening groups getting a lot of strawberry seeds from Proven Winners crushed in the mail. So there are a few things, and that is your responsibility when you are packing your seeds and you are shipping them out to someone. You are responsible to make sure that they arrive there safely. And almost all letter mail goes through a roller system at the post office, and that can crush seeds that are in there. I just heard of washi tape for the first time on a podcast yesterday. Now I'm hearing it again today. Freaky. Nicole, oh my God, you should... my kid's outside. I should make her come and show you our washi tape collection, because I scored last year when Michaels was throwing out this entire end shelf of journaling stuff. I went in to get some things for my daughter for her birthday, and the guy was like clearing the shelf off. It was all getting tossed into a dumpster. I am not supposed to tell anybody this, but he put like the entire end unit. I got like 40 different journals, books, washi tape rolls, probably like $400 worth of stuff. He threw it in a box. I paid $4. So I have been giving out washi tape and journaling supplies for everyone's birthday for the past 2 years. So I have a nice selection of washi tape, but you can buy it at the dollar store. You can get it in a pack. You know, you can go out and get some really cute gardening ones if you want. They are kind of addicting to get. So back to keeping your seeds safe, there are a few things you can do. One of the things you can do, especially if you are going to be packaging in plastic containers, you can also throw in just a few grains of rice in the plastic Ziploc bag. And what that will do is that will help pull out, you know, any moisture from the seeds, and it will also help if the seeds are small to keep them from getting crushed. So it'll add a little bit of a protection in the seeds in the mailing. So as long as the seeds are smaller than the grain of rice, which a lot of veggie and flower seeds are. Another thing you can do is you can use bubble mailers. I find bubble mailers are kind of expensive. They're adding to your cost. I mean, we're doing this because we're trying to save money. So, you know, if you're you know, swapping like 5 or 6 or more packets with somebody, then yes, you would definitely want to, you know, get a bubble mailer, and then, you know, you get your oversized stamp and pay for it that way. But if you're just trying to send it in a regular envelope, you can, like last year a few times I had just like the small, I had a bunch of like leftover Christmas envelopes that I got at the flea store, what's it called, the secondhand store, and it was just a bag full of envelopes, and I was like, that's perfect. So I use those, and so I would just stick a couple tea bags in, and then I put my seed packs in, and then that just kept them nice. I use bubble mailers. They're $12 for $4 at Walmart. US. In the US. Here in Canada, we find, you know, sometimes the dollar store will have things and they're not too bad. But here, like shipping, we're looking at close to $1 for just a regular envelope. Anything that goes into the bubble mailer, I'm looking at $1.80 to mail in Canada. So it definitely adds to the cost when you're doing 50 seed swaps. Sorry, my guava juice is extra refreshing tonight. So another thing you can do is you can go to the dollar store, my favorite store for seed swapping supplies, and buy a roll of bubble wrap. So you can buy bubble wrap, and then you can just cut it and cut it to the size of your envelope and just stick it in there and get your seeds in there so that they go nice and sweet. Why are you freaking out about the sweet spot? The price of, we do have Walmart in Canada. It's just, I'm saying the price is probably not going to be that. And if I'm using a bubble mailer, then I'm paying a lot more for shipping. But yes, we do have Walmart. We do. Okay. So just making sure that I'm covering everything I wanted to cover about keeping it safe. Okay. So you want to, and that's the thing, is you want to make sure, like, if you are going to be doing seed swaps, get your supplies ahead of time, because people were complaining last year that they couldn't get tiny envelopes, they couldn't get this, they couldn't get that. Places were hard to buy seeds because everything's more expensive here. Everything's more expensive in Canada because we have And then on top of like the price, we pay 13% sales tax. And it's a goods and services tax. So we spend anything I buy at the store. If I go to Walmart and my bill is $100 and I'm going to pay $113. The only thing, there are things that are exempt from the tax, and that is like whole foods. So fruits, veggies, milk, bread, anything like that. And kids clothing under $30 and kids shoes are exempt. But yeah, there's a goods and service tax. Even on, like, if you hire an electrician, you hire a plumber, you have to pay the goods and services tax, which is, yeah, it adds up. Wow. See, I grew up in Oregon, and Oregon has 0 sales tax. 0. And then I moved to Florida, and I lived in Florida for 3 years, and Florida's was 6. And that was a shock to me. And then I moved to Ontario, and it's like, yeah, we're at 13% right now. So sometimes, yeah, I still have a hard time. I've been here, a long time, and I still forget that. Yeah, so who else has joined us? Do we have anyone new? Oh, Pam. Hey, welcome, Pam. Thank you for joining. And Harmon HVAC, thank you so much for popping in. Yeah, so taxes, shipping, everything is more expensive here in Canada. Our Canadian dollar is roughly 30% less than the US dollar at any given time. So anytime I order anything like seeds from the US, it's quite a bit of a, you don't feel bad about in Massachusetts. Yeah, you're lucky. When we used to be able to go across the border to shop in Buffalo, it was a nice surprise. Everything there was a lot more reasonable, especially back when our dollar was higher. So yeah, everything is more expensive in Canada. The supplies, the postage, the gas, everything. And so we do pay a lot, and we have less of a variety. So that's why Quebec is 15%. Ha ha ha. Oh no, they have always trying to outdo us in Ontario, aren't you? Yeah. Thank you, Caleb, for joining us. Thank you. Yeah, so that's another reason why here it just seemed very cost effective to grow. And so if you do see my garden, if you go and check out my July garden video, if you haven't seen it, like 99% of everything growing in my backyard, I grew from seed. And the 95% of that was from seed swaps. So last year I only ordered like a handful of seeds from Baker Creek and Rainbow Seeds, my beans and my Buena Mulata peppers and one of my zinnias. So I just put in a very small order, and then everything else was from seed swaps. And the thing with the seed swaps is the variety that I'm growing. Like I never would have grown the amount of seeds and the types of seeds. All of a sudden I was hearing about all these different kinds of greens that I'd never had. Someone forced kohlrabi on me, and now I'm growing it, and I'm just about ready to go harvest my first kohlrabi. So it's very exciting. I would never have been able to afford the variety of seeds. I would never be able to afford to have, as many plants out in my garden if it hadn't been for the seed swaps. And so I want to say thank you so much to everyone that I've swapped with, all the groups that had the swaps, the Facebook groups that ran it and did an excellent job, because it made it possible for me to be able to do what I was able to do. And so I want to encourage other people to get out there and to do it as well, and to try and answer as many questions as I can, because I know a lot of people just aren't aware of it, or they're kind of unsure or nervous or scared to try something new. And I just want to be like, nope, it's great. Start off with a couple, but make sure you get ahead of time, know what your seeds are, make your list. The sweet sauce baby. Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, oh, but you have free healthcare in Canada. No. We have universal coverage. We do not have free healthcare in Canada. We pay for it through our taxes. Thank you very much. But I'm not complaining. It is nice to not have to worry when you get sick or someone else gets sick. So it is what it is. So yeah, so make sure you have your stuff ahead of time, because you don't want to be in the middle of where you want to swap and you can't get your supplies. Here we were shut down with lockdown, and people were having trouble buying stamps. Like you couldn't even buy postage, you couldn't buy stamps. Certain stores were closed. You're only able to buy essentials, and so like ordering and everything, you got to wait. So it did put a real kink in a lot of people's seed swaps last fall. So I'm just telling you right now, make a list of what you think you might need for your swaps. I have on my list seed packets, envelopes, postage. Make sure you know the laws of the people you're swapping with. Washi tape. Washi tape is amazing for your swaps. And even for like the package you get, if someone sends it to you and they glue it or they use regular tape, try and get that off really carefully, and then you can use washi tape. Also, the seed packets that you buy from the stores, sometimes the glue on there doesn't really hold, and you open your package and suddenly you have like coriander seeds all over the living room floor. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, the other thing I do want to talk about is you are also fairly responsible for keeping your seeds what you say they are. So cross-pollination, varietal purity, all of that. You know, when you're doing a swap with people, especially people, you know, a lot of people, it's going to be their first time swapping. They might not know what they're doing. So if there's a seed that you have to have, 100%, you have to have that seed, that variety, go buy it. Go online and go buy it, because you might get someone and they say, oh yeah, I have, you know, this Black Beauty tomato for sure. And they save the seed and they give it to you in all honesty and all goodness of their heart. And it cross-pollinated with something, and they weren't aware of it. They didn't know. Even when you take precautions, I mean, even seeds, you know, Baker Creek people ordered seeds and used them, and they're like, this is not what I ordered. It happens to everyone. So just take it with a grain of salt. You might not always get what you think you're getting in a seed swap, and you might not have 100% germination rate or any germination rate. So I did have a few seeds that just did not germinate at all. I don't know if it was an error of the person who collected it. Maybe they weren't ripe yet. Maybe they were a hybrid and they weren't viable. Maybe I messed up in whatever, but that's just kind of the roll of the dice. It is a bit of a gamble. But if you are swapping, you know, be responsible and try to do your best, making sure that you are keeping track of the varieties. I do have a quick little video that I'll post in down below on bagging. So if you can just use the little organza bags and stick it over the blossoms of different plants to help make sure that you're maintaining only that seed is pollinated with what you want it to be pollinated with. Okay, I loved Ontario the last time I was there. When I get back, my credit card charges almost half of what I thought they were. Yeah, that's nice when you come up to the US, when you come up from the US. Yeah, we have the exact opposite issue when we go. That would be exciting. Yes. Okay, so I have discussed also write down when you're saving your seeds. Make sure you keep track of the varieties. I like to write down as much as I know about that seed. I have made a few. Here, I will share the link with you now. I will post these down in the description after. But here we go. This is a Google Doc. So if you open this Google document, the first thing you will do when opening this document is you will click on the File button, and then you will click where it says Make a Copy, and then you will click OK. All right, and then that will save it to your Google Sheets, and then you won't be messing with this one. So we'd like to try and keep this one as a template, so to speak. So I have 3 different spreadsheets that I will be sharing with you tonight that you can use in your seed swapping. You don't have to use them. You can use a different system. You can handwrite it in your journal if you want. I did that last year. It worked great. This year, I'm trying to be a little bit more organized with it, and I'm using pretty colors. So you can go on here, click the file, click Save a Copy, and this is just kind of an example of what you want to make a sheet like this. So it is a spreadsheet. It has one side that of the seeds that you have that you want to share, that you're willing to share. They can be seeds that you have collected and saved yourself. They can be seeds that you've bought and you just have enough left to share. I've broken it up into veggies, herbs, and flowers just to make it easier. And then I have on the other side is a wish list. So these are the seeds that you are looking for. So what happens is when you join a seed swap or a seed group, you will upload your spreadsheet to the group. It can be a spreadsheet or it can just be handwritten and you just take a picture of it with your phone and upload it to the group. So everyone can see, okay, you have this to give and you want this. So people can go and look at your list and see, oh, I have this, what do I want? So everyone will ask you, what's your list? What's your list? So this is a list that I made. It's very easy to use. If you are not familiar with using a spreadsheet, I can do a little video maybe later in the week on just kind of how to manipulate it, how if you need more room in between sections, how to add rows and add columns if you need to, no problem. So just make sure you save a copy of this and then don't actually use this one. Okay, then the next list, the next spreadsheet I will be posting is going to be your seed list. So these will be the seeds that you have. This is something every gardener probably would have or want to have anyways, whether you're swapping or not, just to keep track of everything that you have. If you want to add any other sections to this, you can put as much information on this or as little information on this as you want. So this is just your seed list. I have on there like the name, and you can be as descriptive as you want. This is your personal list. Then the date, the year you saved it, the type of seed it is, the size of the seed or the size of the plant. How big is it going to get? Does it need sunshade? Does it need anything specific to germinate? Like petunias, they need light to germinate. So if I'm swapping with someone and I have, petunias that are available for someone, I will make sure that I put needs light to germinate. If I'm trading my loofah seeds, I will recommend the baggy method because they're kind of temperamental to get to germinate, and people have had a better success with that. So again, this you can just put the name of your seed. You don't have to fill it out. You can fill it out as much as you want. This kind of a spreadsheet you can put and have as much information. You can add more things on, like what kind of yield you got from it, what you liked about it, taste, whatever. Save it, and this seed list you can share with the people you swap with, so that you don't have to go and write all of that information on each seed packet. You can just write the name of the seed and maybe the year on it. And if you want to put your name on the back, you can. And then you can just kind of refer everyone you do seed swaps with to like a main reference page where they can get all the information they want from your seeds. Because honestly, if you're writing everything down on these envelopes, you're going to go buggy. You're going to go buggy and you're going to get fed up with it and you're going to lose the joy of seed swapping. So learn from my mistakes. learn from my mistakes from last year of kind of jumping in with both feet and not really kind of just getting a little bit overwhelmed by it all. So this is the seed list. Then I have this, the next spreadsheet I will be posting is for your actual, thank you, Stinky. I did. I do enjoy a good spreadsheet. Like, I'm not super OCD or anything like that. I am definitely a B personality, but I did enjoy my computer programming and computer classes in school. I do enjoy a good spreadsheet. So this one here is for your seed swap orders. Again, keep track of it however you want, but this worked really well for me. I actually didn't use it on the computer typing it in. I printed it out, and then I could just kind of handwrite it in the list. But what I do is I put the person's name, and then I just had a list of all the seeds they were swapping, and then I had my name and what I was swapping from with them, and then I put a little X in the box when I mailed their seeds, and then I put an X in their box when I received their seeds, and then I knew I was done with that person's swap. This could be this. If you want to share this list with people you're swapping with, you can, but to me, I kept it kind of personal. I did not share my actual seed swapping list with other people. Oh, I just had a thought and it's gone now. But yeah, like this, I have on there, if you see, unfortunately, I'm not like Lion Crest, and I don't have the fancy, I don't know how to stream the other picture on right here of the spreadsheet. So if you're watching this now, you can just click on the link. If you're watching this later, I don't know if the links will be live in that, but I'll have them posted down below in the description or in the chat somewhere down there. So yeah, you want to put who you swapped with, that you sent it. Oh, this is the thing I also highly, highly, highly recommend. Every seed packet you send out in the mail, take a picture. Take a picture of the envelope right before you drop it in the mailbox, because that way you know 100% that you have mailed it to that person. And if that person doesn't get it, you can say, listen, this is when I mailed it. I mailed it. Because sometimes you're mailing out so many and some people's names are similar, and you swear you mailed it and you don't know. That way you have proof that you have mailed it. And I usually would just send it to the person that I was swapping with. I'd be like, yeah, I got it in the mail today. And then they know it's on the way and they're not sweating about that. Lion Chris, I'm actively emailing myself copies of all the spreadsheets. Yay! If you have any other ideas of anything you want me to add to the spreadsheets, like go ahead and add whatever you want to your own. If you have a recommendation or a suggestion that I could add to like the mass spreadsheet for other people to use, then feel free. This is kind of, I was just coming up with all of the things I could think of and that I actually used. I just realized I'm not subscribed to a lot of you, and I will see you in the chats all the time, etc. There you go, Danny. All right. Yes. So feel free to post your link too. I don't think I have any mods in the chat tonight to actually be doing that. So if you have a YouTube channel, just go ahead and type in right now, I have a YouTube channel. Hope to see you visit my page or whatever like that, right? Everyone, I think pretty much everyone in here has a YouTube channel. So if you're not following everyone, go check everybody out. Hi, Fishes and Loaves. How are you? I'm actually thinking of getting a shirt. You made me think of when I was watching your lives. I'm like, ooh, I need to get a shirt that says, BramptonGardener. I'm working on it. I'm working on a logo idea. Best Yet Journey. Hello, hello. Thank you. You're subbed. Gigi has a channel. Gigi's mean. Did you know Gigi was mean? Yeah. She yelled at me. Yes. Thank you for the challenge, Gigi. That was fun. On the Facebook page, Brampton has. Yes. So if you are a YouTube garden channel and you would like to join a swap with myself and other YouTube garden channel people, please send me an email at bramptongardener@gmail.com and I will send you a link to join the group. And yes, you must have a YouTube channel. I will have to verify that. I'm not letting just anybody in. So yes, if you want to join the YouTube channel, I think I sent a lot of people emails and I was clicking on the show me the email and oh, where did I go? Oh, I'm back. Yeah, I was clicking and it says show the email and then you have to figure out this little CAPTCHA thing and then they would show you the emails. And then after I did that, they quit letting me see the email. So I don't know if they thought it was a bot or something. So I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. So yes, if you have a friend that's a YouTuber that's not in the Facebook Seed Swap YouTube group, then feel free to send them an invite and just let them know they'll have to just fill out the questionnaire in order to get in. So, all right, so next, labeling. So if you're not going to label, if you choose to use the spreadsheet, you can do less on the envelopes, but you want to, at the very, very least, put the type of seed, the variety of seed, and the year. Okay. And most seed swaps, some of them have like a limit, like it can't be more than 2 years old. I know to donate to a seed bank or seed library, I believe it was 2 years was the limit. That said, not everyone in the group is going to be as particular. Just be upfront about it, because last year, a lot of people wanted ground cherry seeds. I had this package of ground cherry seeds and I'm like, I've been using it for a while now. They always germinate. The package says expires in 2017. Which means I probably got it in 2015 or 16 and they still germinate. And I was like, you know what, if they want to go for it, give it a try. And most everyone was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll try it. But I would just make sure that I put on the list, like 2017, I would put on the envelope just so people know ahead of time. If you're buying the seeds, like if it is bought seed, like if I take seeds out of my like Baker Creek Buenamalata package and I'm putting it into an envelope, then yeah, I'm going to tell someone this is from the real Baker Creek seeds. They're not my save seeds, just so they know. Tips, yeah, like if you have tips on how to germinate it, like if you struggle to germinate seeds, like I am going to be looking at more videos on how to germinate the Bells of Ireland. I struggled. I finally got like 3 to germinate and I only ended up with 1 that actually is thriving and planted and worked really well. And I watched a lot of different videos. I did 3 different methods with the seeds that I had to try. I did the, I did cold stratify them. I did them in the fridge. I did them in the baggie method. I did some direct sow. And, so that's one of those things where, when I'm, collecting my seeds and I go to share my seeds, I'm going to be like, here's Belle of Ireland. Good luck. You might have to figure it out yourself. But if I had like a really great method like the loofah, I had a lady that messaged me in, I think, February, and she's like, I'm trying to germinate my loofah seeds and none of them are germinating. And all of a sudden I'm like thinking maybe I sent her a bad batch or whatever. So I took some of the same loofah seeds that I had sent to her, did the bagging method. They all germinated. Let her know. She dug hers out of the soil, stuck them in an envelope, in a bag with some damp paper towel, and hers all germinated as well. So when you know information like that, put it on your list, because it makes you a very valued sharer or swapper, and people really appreciate that, right? And so the better you are at your swaps, the word will get around that you are a good swapper, and you might get better trades in the future. Most seed swapping communities do have a list of people. If you do not follow the rules, or you do not send your seeds, and you kind of cheap out or flake out, you can get booted from the group, and you do not want to do that. All right, so everyone's subscribing. Yay. Lion Crest is checking out Nicole's garden. Oh, Lion Crest, you'll have fun with all of her. She has some fun expressions over there. Although you're from Texas too, so you're probably not too surprised. Kiki, she's subscribed. E3 Farmstead. E3's fairly new channel, I believe, right? I just subscribed to you recently. Container crabs, fishes and loaves. I always say loaves and fishes. I don't know why. Fishes and loaves. You struggle with Barrels of Ireland and Roselle. Now, see, I did not have Roselle. I have cranberry hibiscus, which is very, very similar, I believe. And some say it's the same as the no, I have the cranberry as can't think of it right now, but it's the one everyone's using to grow for flowers, and it's mahogany. The mahogany hibiscus is used for the foliage, because I don't think it gets warm enough here for us to actually get the blooms on it. But people use the leaves, I believe, as well for tea. So I think the Roselle was hard and should have worked in South Florida. I had no problem with my cranberry hibiscus, so I find that interesting. I just stuck them in. I did the soil blocks, and I just stuck them right in the little soil blocks, and they all did really well. Some of them are pretty big. Some of my plants are pretty tiny still. I think they need a lot more sun than that some of them are getting, but they do like a lot of water, so that's good. So yeah, anything like that, if you've had issues with the plant, or if it's just like this one was super easy to grow, it went like crazy like my petunias last year, and the petunias this year, they have just gone banana pants, as Nicole would say, then yeah, put that on there too, because people want to know, like, if there's something, it's a vigorous grower, that they can, kind of rely on that seed. So definitely make sure you put down as much information. Let people know, is it a perennial, right? Because there's a lot of perennial flowers out there that people will share, a lot of like natural, local native plants that get swapped that are excellent for winter sowing. So if you're into any winter sowing, using local native plants works really, really well for that. Let people know if it's an annual or if it's a biannual instead of biannual. Just let people know, so they're not, like, why the heck aren't my hollyhocks blooming? Right? Because a lot of people don't realize that hollyhocks, technically, for the most part, do not bloom until their second year. And there's a lot of plants that are like that. Sweet Williams and I believe the foxgloves that I have out back, they do not bloom until their second year. So you definitely want to put that into a seed swap, because there are some, foxgloves and whatever that do bloom their first year. So just make sure you put that on their second year blooming, things like that, so people aren't disappointed when you get the swap, right? Because you want people to be as happy with your seeds as you are with your seeds, and as you are as excited getting theirs. Roselle and cranberry are related, not the same hibiscus plant. Okay, yes, most Jamaican and Asian crops usually do well here, so man. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I was not into gardening when I lived in Florida. I waited until I moved to Zone 5B to get started on gardening, which is quite unfortunate. Broke is still here listening. Good to have you, Broke. Good to have you. Hey, great. I will check. I think I'm subbed. Everyone's subbed to buy more seeds. Oh, yes, buying more seeds. Which veggie farm say? Germinate after the second try. Oh, okay. Yeah, some seeds, if they're hard, I learned, I grew a lot from the canna lilies this year. My neighbor up the street, I've always just grown them from the tubers, and I only have like the giant King Hubert red, the big red ones, and I love them. They're beautiful, they're huge, but they take a long time before they start to bloom because they have to get to the full height. So none of those are blooming yet. And then my neighbor up the street had the small, like 3-foot bright orange blooms last year, and so I took the seeds off of those. Never grown them from seed, didn't know how it would go. And I kept following this guy over on Facebook, and on YouTube, there's all different ways of nicking the seeds, right? So some people like use a saw, some people use a knife. One guy made like this contraption with wood to hold it and do this and that. Anyways, this guy was like, I just nicked it with toenail clippers. So I was like, all right. So honestly, I just used toenail clippers, nicked it, threw them in water. A couple days later, they sprouted and they went. So if something has a really, really hard coat and you're having trouble, try toenail clippers, because it's a much safer, easier way to score them than using like trying to use a knife or something, right? Like I watched some of these videos and it's like, oh my God, this one guy was like using a hacksaw. I was like, seems like a really, really dangerous idea. So yeah, any extra tips that you have and you want to put on there, if something does better in shade, sunny, whatever, add it to there. Let me just see if I've covered everything that I was hoping to cover. If you're not sure, like if you're like, I have this, see, just be upfront with people. People are more than willing to try something, especially if someone's being honest. Saying, you know what, I think this is the seed. I can't guarantee it has been cross-pollinated or cross-contaminated. If you want to try it, as long as you're upfront and you say, you know, whatever, and you know, people might be like, why not try it? Give it a try. Give it a try. And then other people be like, listen, I don't have the time or the space to risk on something that you know, I'm not going to be 100%. And that's safe too. So I will also add that one of the biggest things I learned last year was that I had to learn how to say no, thank you. So at some point in your trades, you will come across someone who, like, they just honestly have nothing that you need or want. Either you already have everything that they have to offer, or it's just something you're just completely not interested in, but they still want something you have. And when that happens, at first I would just be like, oh, okay, and pick something random that they had that I'm like, I don't know if I'm really going to want this or use it. And then I'm out, you know, the postage, which doesn't seem like a lot, but after you do 56 trades at $1 something each trade, it adds up. So I learned to say, no problem, send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. So it's an S, I'll write it in the chat. Oh, I'm writing that on a spreadsheet somewhere. Sorry. My cursor is no longer in the chat. So you might see this if you are in seed swap groups. SACE, that is a self-addressed stamped envelope. Okay, and so that is for someone that that way you can send it. That way they're not out the postage, they're not out the envelope. They don't have to address it to you, because honestly, after you're writing and doing this many envelopes, it's taxing to have to write all these. So if someone's going to give you the seeds for free and you're not giving any seeds back, then by all means just send them the addressed envelope. And I had no problem with that. I would much rather do that than get extra seeds that I don't need, especially if someone else can use the seed. I didn't want to waste any seeds. So yeah, I learned to do that, and I wish that I had learned to say no and do that sooner. And people feel really, really, really bad doing that. They feel like they're taking advantage of you. And so finally I was like, listen, stop. Have you seen the size of my yard? Like, for the love of God, I have no more room. Stop sending me seeds. So just be upfront and just, you know, if there's something they don't want, there's no point in taking seeds that you know you're not going to use. Unless, of course, they're seeds that are popular and other people might want, and then you can use them to trade. But it's always best to say, I got these in a swap. These are not my seeds, but I do have say if someone wants a French marigold, someone gave me French marigold seeds, I'm not going to use them. Someone else wants French marigold seeds. I'll be like, I have some. You're welcome to have them. They're not mine. I got them in a swap so that they know that I'm not like on the hook in case it turns out to be, you know, like a pumpkin or something, right? Which of course you would know from the seeds, but I'm just saying, you want to just be upfront with people because we're all in the same boat. We're all amateurs. We're all just out to have fun. And I think to some people, it's just an addiction, honestly, to buy and to swap the seeds. I don't know if people are planning on, like, when I see these people that are buying like 50 packs of tomato seeds and they're like, yeah, I have 4 containers and I bought all these tomato seeds. I got to try and decide what to plant. So most people have more seeds than they need anyways. So just checking the chat. Anything new going on? Hey, Bonnie. I think I did see you come in. I don't know if I said hi or not. Kiki, you just subbed again. You know what? I had to resub to someone, Rambling with the Brums. I had to resubscribe to him yesterday. I don't know what happened there. So I don't know why YouTube keeps popping people off. It's weird. YouTube is a hater for sure. For sure. Seed saving. Yeah. And then the number one thing is follow through. Follow through. If you say you're, Rambling with the Brums, there. You just, ooh, that's creepy. I was just talking about you. Yeah, I had to sub to you yesterday. Yeah, we got booted. I don't know what happened. That was weird. Yeah. So, yeah, just follow through. Like, just don't leave people hanging because nothing's worse than when you're sitting there and you're watching the mailman and you're waiting for your little pack of free seeds. And then they don't come and they don't come and they don't come. And then you ask the person ghosts you. So if you make a mistake, let's say the envelope gets lost before you have a chance to mail it. Let's say you are drying your seeds that you've promised to someone and they're sitting in that little paper plate by the window and your cat knocks it over. Tell them. Say, I am so sorry. This happened to the seeds. Yada, yada, yada. Don't ghost them. Don't be like so embarrassed, like, oh my God. Or think that, I'll just get more seeds and then that person's waiting and waiting and waiting. Like, by all means, just tell them, listen, sorry, I'm so sorry. My kid knocked it over. My cat knocked it over. My dog ate the seeds. I will do my best to try and get you more seeds. I will do my best to try and, but so many times in some swaps, I did not have it happen in any of my seed swaps, but I have been in swaps on the sewing boards. People will be doing like a bag swap or a mug rug swap or these different things. And there's always someone that just doesn't bother following through. They get too busy and something doesn't happen and they don't follow through. And then someone gets stuck. Especially if they've gone through all the time and effort of making a really nice, like zipper bag or something, and then they mail it, you've spent, some good hard-earned money shipping it here, here in Canada, that cost you at least $15 to mail out a zipper bag in a nice padded envelope, and then to not get something in return is just heartbreaking. But if something happens, like you get sick, something happens to the plant, you were waiting to collect seeds, and for some reason the seeds just didn't, oh, my hand is really creepy. Sorry. Some like my moonflower, like honestly, I hardly got any moonflower seeds last year. So I had a list and I was like, listen, I don't have very many. I don't know how many I'm going to get. You will get a certain number of seeds depending on how many people want ones and I get. So just honestly, be upfront. I need to grow more things that have seeds to share. I'm in a periannual. Yeah. No sending banana pups. Although that'd be kind of exciting. It'd be nice to grow a banana tree here. And sometimes the seeds are time sensitive, like they have to be planted by a certain time and a certain time. Yes, that's really important. I did make sure to write that down on my loofah seeds. Plant by February. They need to get planted early. Yes, great idea, Kiki. I should add that to my list. I'm going to write it down right now so I can add it to my formal list. And oh no, Danny, what happened to yours? The wind blew my paper plates full of drying peas right off the table the other day. It was not fun. Well, at least it was peas. At least it was peas and it wasn't, like onion seeds or, snapdragon seeds or something, because those are crazy tiny. That's crazy. I get the seeds from New Jersey from Joe monthly or $2 within Canada. It's a second. Isn't that crazy? I know. Yeah, I don't know when you popped into the chat, but we were talking about that a little bit earlier, the cost of like postage and bubble mailers and all of that here in Canada. Honesty and communication is always key. Yes, people are not going to think badly of you if you make a mistake, if you somehow get your seeds wet or your envelope gets wet or the dog eats the whole envelope of seeds. What will make them angry is if you don't send it and you don't tell them why and you just leave them hanging. So that's not cool. And that is a really, really good way of getting yourself kicked out of a group. And you do not want to get kicked out of the seed swapping group. That would be really, really sad. So does anyone else have any other questions? Also, it germinates and works for one person, won't necessarily grow in someone else's garden, environment, soil, and other things. That's true. That's true, Pam. And so that's the other thing too. When you're going into a seed swap, just know it's a bit of a gamble. That's what makes it fun. It's because it is a very, very cheap way to gamble. But you honestly, you just never know what seeds you're getting at the end of the day. You know, that person, it might have gotten crossed. They might have mislabeled it. You just never know. It might not germinate. They might have taken it from a plant that's, you know, not fertile, anything like that. A hybrid, you know, something like that. They might not know better. And so, yeah, for sure, you definitely will be have to keep an eye on that and just, you know, take it with a grain of salt. You get a package of seeds that's moldy. You know what? I didn't even tell the guy because I got several seeds from him and the rest were all totally fine. And so it was just like a one-off. Like if everyone had been rotten in that package, I would have been like, dude, you know, you should have been a little bit more careful with this, but it was just one. The other thing, yeah, with back to the envelopes, the thing with the paper is, you know, if you've dried them the 2 weeks and you stick them in the paper, you know, you're good to go. You're probably good to go in the other, depending on your level of humidity, right? Like some areas are just really, really humid. So your seeds might have dried out or might be fairly dry. But then when, you know, there could be moisture in the air and you go and stick it in that baggie, you know, and it's like, you know, sometimes here in the summer, it could be, you know, 96% humidity. There's humidity in the air and it can go in that little baggie and you seal it up and, you know, it goes and gets stuck in the heat somewhere and you just never know if extra moisture could get in there. So you could throw in a little bit, a few grains of rice and or just stick with the paper. I stuck with the paper mainly just because it was easier and it's what I had on hand. And I did use child labor for these little envelopes, which I think they're pretty cute. Some of them have like, this one I printed out for the size. It was a nice size. And it has a lot of like information that you can actually write on the back of the seed packet. So on this one, it has the name, the variety, color, sun, height, width, zone, year, and who it's from. So that's a nice one too. If you want to, you know, the more information you include on your seed packets, it is nice. And some people last year would write little instruction lists and everything, but honestly, they are the cutest little envelopes. Yeah, I posted, I think, a link in the group if you want to download these. I will probably, these are more for like an emergency, like if I'm filling out an order and I don't want to run to the dollar store and get more of the other ones. But these ones, literally what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be cutting them in half for most of my seeds. I might look online and see if I can get them half that price. But honestly, this is my sewing room, so don't tell my sewing friends that I use my applique scissors for the seeds. So yeah, like that. I did an excellent job cutting those perfectly straight in half, but you get the idea. That's plenty big for tomatoes and pepper seeds and all of that. So, yes, Fishes and Loaves is in Florida. Creekside Maples, thanks for joining. How are you doing tonight? They are also in Canada. So yes, Josh at City Said has a cool swap in winter. He puts a bunch of seed packets in a bubble envelope and picks someone in comments to send to. They pick what they want and send some back of their own. Those are really great. I've seen some of those where you send them and you send them on, or there's other seed groups will have, I know like one of the big one here will have a vegetable swap in the fall. And so you send in like 10 seeds and then you get back 10 random seeds, all this and that. Those seeds, those are great. The problem with doing that in Canada is we're paying double postage for stuff. So sometimes that can be a little bit of, you know, price prohibitive for some people. So Zone 8A is a great zone, though I also have lychee, all little ones right now. Ever eat mulberry? Ubi yam. Oh, yep. Mulberries. Canadian Proud Get Outdoors. He has the mulberry tree, right? He's the one that does all the mulberries, I believe. He just like goes out with a big tarp and like shakes them all down. Yeah. So yes, there's a few Canadians in here tonight. The Brums, the Creekside Maples, Artist in a Garden, moi, and Craig was here earlier. Yeah, nice to see some Canadian faces. So, yeah, getting my Canadian on. She's in Tallahassee. She's a Tallahassee lassie. Nice. What zone are we, Rochelle? Hey, I believe I am a U.S. zone 5B, but possibly Canadian zone 6A. So U.S. zones only goes by the coldest average temperature in winter. So you can have a lot of different varieties of weather and climates in the same zone. Whereas apparently Canada kind of takes into account heat, and it takes into account more things than just the coldest temperature, which actually makes sense, and it makes for a better idea of your actual growing zone and who might have a similar zone to you. The only problem with that is it's different than the USDA system, and all the seeds are based on the USDA system. So I know sometimes when I comment in a Canadian gardening group and I say I'm 5B, they're like, oh, no, you're in Brampton, you're in Ontario, that's a 6 or whatever. I'm like, well, it's 6 Canadian. They're like, yeah, well, you're in Canada. I'm like, yeah, but I'm buying these seeds from the US. I can't go with the Canadian zone. I have to use the zone, right? You're in a 5B. See, and I do think that I'm technically now in a 6A because I think that they changed it a few years back. But I've looked at different websites, and it's kind of, I still get both things. So, but honestly, it doesn't really matter to me anymore what my zone is, because I'm done with perennials. Like I don't really have room for any more perennials, especially like shrubs and things like that. Like we dug a ton out this year and put them over at the neighbor's side on their lot because we just didn't have room for the shrubs and stuff. So any perennials that I will be growing will just be things kind of like, the foxgloves and those smaller items that I'm not as worried. I'm more concerned with my first and last frost dates. I think that is much more important to know in gardening and to be aware of in gardening. And it's something that a lot of people don't even know or talk about, the first and last frost dates, especially their first frost date. It's very important, especially if you're doing your fall gardens or if you're doing any of the cool crops, the cool flowers. I was really struggling trying to figure out when to start my cool flowers in the spring, because according to Lisa Mason Ziegler, you want to start your you want to plant your cool flowers in the ground 6 weeks before your last frost date. But you need to start them 6 to 8 weeks before that date. So I had to try to figure out when is my last frost date and then count back, 12 weeks in order to know when to start my seeds. And every time I ask people, when is the last frost date? They would say, oh, well, you can't plant out until the May 2-4 weekend. That's the safest. I'm like, no. Your last frost date and when it's safe to plant out are two completely different dates. And there's usually a 2-week difference, right? And actually, if you go on the Johnny's website, they have an amazing, you know what? I'm just going to link that. If you guys haven't checked this website out, Johnny's has the most amazing spreadsheet for knowing when to start your seeds, and you enter in your last frost date. And so I looked on several different websites. I got so many different dates here in Brampton. I'm kind of on the border of Brampton and Georgetown, and I had some places that said the end of April, some places were saying middle of May. I finally ended up calling my local horticultural society, and she told me that their official date on the books is May 9th. And so I do not plant, and I do not plan to plant any of my, warm plants like tomatoes and peppers and any of that until, yes, the May 2-4 weekend. But that is the official last frost date, is May 9th. And so that is the date that I used to count back to know when to start seeds. Because when you look at a seed packet, it says from your last frost date. It does not say from when it's safe to plant out. So a lot of people get that really, really confused. And I was getting really frustrated with that because I was like, I can't get a straight answer. So yeah, so if you go to Johnny Seeds, they have this section called Growers Library, and they have all kinds of amazing things on there. The second list on the link is called Planning Tools and Calculators. So I'm going to actually just show you the spreadsheet for that whole page. I mean, the link for that whole page if you haven't seen it before. So here, there's like if you're doing like major farming, they have a seed quantity calculator to know how many, like how long your row is and how many seeds. And they have high tunnel information. You plant seed starting date calculator for seedlings. This is the one I'm talking about. You punch in your last frost date on this page here, and they will tell you number of weeks to start, when to start it, when it's safe to plant it out. And you will notice on most of them, the safe to plant out date is about 2 weeks past your last frost date on the cold sensitive, the sensitive plants. So that I found to be the absolute best website and link. They also, on that list right below it, is they have the succession planting calculator. So if you want to plant that way, they also have a target harvest date calculator. So if you know, like you're going to be having a market or you're having a wedding or something like that, and you want to be harvesting at a certain time, it will literally tell you when you need to start the seeds. Also, they have a fall harvest planting calculator. And that is actually a workbook, I believe, that you have to download. All of those are actually like a spreadsheet worksheet that you download. The seed starting one, you just type in your last frost date, and it just, boom, it automatically does it for you. And then you can just print that out. Overwintering flower tribals seed date calculator. Like, they have an amazing, extensive section there. So definitely check it out. And yeah, if people want to know like when to start their seeds, especially if it's seeds that you have that are on the list, you can actually even just put a link to that when you're doing your seed swapping, so people know when to get started on things. Do we have anyone new? I think we have. I saw new faces in here. Oh, number one, be yourself. Hey, welcome to the chat. I can't get my chat thing to scroll up. Did I miss anybody else down at the bottom? Oh, Gail. Hey, Gail. Thanks for popping in. So is anyone here thinking of maybe trying a seed swap this year? Have you been intrigued enough to give it a go? Tony, good news, Tony. What's Tony's good news? Oh, Port St. Lucie. Ooh, that'd be nice. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I miss Florida. I do miss it was absolutely beautiful. People are crazy. But Florida is absolutely beautiful. Hear that, Gail? I've been working away from the homestead for 4 weeks now. Don't have time to film, edit, or upload at all. Hoping all our subs stay with us until I get back to editing. Hopefully, YouTube doesn't start popping them off. Maybe just put up a quick little, maybe a couple shorts, or just a quick like 3-minute video or something. Just straight upload from your phone or whatever, just to kind of keep it active. I don't know, YouTube likes to just keep popping stuff out. Gail, I would love to seed swap. Sounds great. So like I mentioned before, if you have a YouTube channel and you're interested in doing a YouTube channel, gardening channel swap, if you don't have the link already, just send me an email at my, I think it should be down here in the description, BramptonGardener@gmail.com. And I will send you a link to add to the group. I would love to, but I don't have room for any more plants. Oh no. Just get some more pots, eh, Pam? Tell her, just get some more containers. Nicole, yeah, you're totally doing the seed swap thing for sure, Nicole, because I need some of those zinnias and some of those new canna lilies you just got. For sure. For sure. We have kept up our live streams, so hopefully that is, yeah. I think the live streams, that is something, just letting people know that you're still there, you're busy, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't like usually go and unsubscribe to someone. I mean, occasionally I will if I'm just like, oh my God, why did I ever subscribe to this channel? I never watch it. It's just something completely bogus, or my daughter clicked on it. It's some doll thing. But otherwise I don't just like go and actively unsubscribe. I'm going to do some seed savings. Not sure if I should swap them in case my first year is saving seeds. Do it. Do it. Do it. Swap them. It's your first year. Don't worry about it. Just tell people, say, listen, this is my first year doing saving seeds. I hope they're okay. As long as you're upfront about it, people are more than willing to help out. And also in the groups, a lot of times they will have, some good tips on saving seeds. So I will be, in my plant of the week series that I'm doing, I do talk a little bit about each plant on when to harvest the seeds, how you can tell when it's ripe. And I just noticed my seed of the month, my seed of the week for my plant of the week for tomorrow. I actually think I have some seeds that are going to be coming ripe pretty soon to go pick, but I won't tell you what that is. That will be coming out tomorrow morning. My new plant of the week. And keep in mind that, yes, you can comment on that and win a pack of free seeds from my plant of the week. I will also be talking more in my next live, which is 2 weeks from today. Let me get the date on that. So that will be August 19th. If I'm not on before then, August 19th will be my next live. And I will be discussing a little bit more extended into the side of if you have extra seeds and seed donation. So there are a lot of places that take donations for seeds. Joe from Garden State Gardener, if you had extra seeds, I'm sure he would be more than happy to take your donations because he does seed giveaways every Sunday night. So that's a great place to drop off a few extra seeds that you might have. Also keep in mind there are plant seed libraries and seed banks. So I will be talking about that more in my next live, and I will be doing an interview with Christine from Christine Seeds. Let me pop her Facebook page up on. She is one of the ones that hosts one of the swap, one of the Canadian seed swap sites. And she also sells some seeds, and she also is the one that started the seed bank here in Canada. So there's a flower seed bank, and then her friend runs like the tomato and pepper seed bank. So this is her site, her Facebook page. And so she doesn't want to come on live, but she said she would be happy to do a question and answer type interview. And so we will be getting a little bit more behind the scenes and answer questions for seed banks and seed libraries, because that is basically where you are checking out seeds from a list. And so what happens in that is that, yes, poor Joey, I'm glad that it seems to be going as well as it is so far. Let's hoping for, better outcome from the surgery, but he seems to be in good spirits, and Joe finally got monetized. Yay. So good for him. I'm so happy. Hopefully that they're just going to be off to a good start now. I'm sure this has been very, very frustrating, and I can't even imagine dealing with that. So seed bank and seed library, actually a lot of regular libraries have a seed library. So Toronto Public Library and Caledon Public Library, which is just north of us, and Mississauga Public Library all have seed libraries. Brampton does not, as of yet. But basically you just go in and there's little packets of seeds and you just can check them out. And most of the time you then grow those seeds out and then you return to the seed bank. You donate back from those seeds at the end of the season. Anywhere between like 6 to 10 times the seeds. So if you're given 6 tomato seeds, then you give back, 60 tomato seeds, something like that, to help perpetuate the seed bank. And so last year I had done a lot of seed swaps. No problem. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Broom. Chris, right? No, Scott. I have such a hard time keeping everyone's names straight. So yeah, so last year I was still looking for pink Berkeley tie-dye tomato, and the the gold pearl. I wanted some more dwarf tomatoes, and I could not. Scott, thank you. Okay, I was right the second time. I couldn't find them in the seed swaps. Nobody had them, and so I went and I was able to actually check them out from the seed library, or seed bank. I think she calls it a seed bank. So I checked them out from the seed bank. So I'm on the hook. Hopefully they do good. I'm on the hook to send back, I believe, 60 of those seeds. And then you're also welcome to donate. So last year I did donate quite a few of my extra other tomato seeds that I had. I had some chocolate cherry tomatoes. I had the loofah. I had the cucamelon. Some of the seeds, some of the plants that you grow will have just like a gazillion seeds available on them. So I would be putting together kind of a more comprehensive, shorter, kind of all about seeds reference video as well, coming up in the next few weeks, kind of covering everything. And you know, if you have any more questions that you haven't asked in the chat that you want to ask in down below, especially for people that are watching this later, I will try to incorporate all the answers to those questions as well. And if I don't know them, I will find out from the seed swapping gurus over on some of the Facebook groups. So what happens if you fail to grow them and can't return them to the bank? You just tell them, say, I'm so sorry, something happened, something went wrong, and it'll be fine. As long as you tried and as long as you let them know that something went wrong, then it is what it is, right? Like you can't, you know, these things happen. Sometimes, you know, you can come in and you're growing a tomato and, you know, you can get a frost comes in before you have a chance, or a squirrel comes in and eats everything, or, you know, something happens to it. So as long as you let them know. Is there a review for latecomers about how to save the seeds? I didn't really talk about how to save the seeds from any given plant in particular. Basically, almost all seeds need to be dried on the plant. You want to make sure they stay on the plant until they are dried out. And most often than not, they will kind of pop open a little bit. So they'll be like have like a brown case of some kind on it, and it will just kind of crack open or pop open. And then that's when you know that they are ready. When you're ready, take them off, put them in a bag, put them in some kind of a container, kind of shake them up, put them out on something flat to dry for about 2 weeks in the house. So paper plates, napkins, pieces of paper, make sure you label. Because you might think, oh, I'm grabbing it off this plant and I'm putting it in there and I'll sprinkle it on the seeds and I'll write it down or I'll remember. No. You come back 3 days later and you're like, what the heck are these seeds from? Where did I get them? Which plant was it? You will not remember. So you want to make sure that you let them dry properly, let them dry on the plant. If you're not used to drying seeds, saving seeds, I recommend just going on YouTube and typing in how to save seeds from zinnia, how to save seeds from this and that. And there'll be very specific videos on that. I know Laura at Garden Answer has quite a few different seed saving videos for flowers. And Jess from Roots and Refuge has one of the best, most comprehensive video on how to save seeds from pretty much anything. And she talks about the different ways of dealing with that. How do you get the jelly coating off cucamelons and tomato seeds? Cucamelons are a pain in the butt. I'm going to tell you right now. The best way to do that is called fermenting, and you would want to put your seeds in a little, a container of some kind, and then put just enough water in it to make it kind of jelly. And then you soak them, and you want to kind of soak them for a few days. You might get a little scum on the top. And then what I will do after, a few days of doing that, the seeds kind of will separate. Cucamelons, honestly, jelly melons are the absolute worst. They have the stickiest little seed coatings on them. One of the ways I do it is I just kind of dump it into a strainer and then just kind of rub the seed on the strainer and try to get that off. But it is kind of a pain in the butt. I will admit that. But yeah, look into tomato seeds. There'll be plenty of online fermenting. Some say you have to ferment it. Some say you don't. I think a lot of it just depends on the people. I've done it both ways and had success. Last year I didn't bother fermenting it, and I didn't have any problems with them germinating. So I know was it Gardening with James Perini, something like that. He's like, don't bother. He just puts them in a strainer and rinses them through whatever. But you can just kind of see whatever works for you, right? Creekside, sorry, I got to run. No problem. Go take care of those animals. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope to see you in the seed swap group. I can't remember if I sent you a message or not. I sent about a ton of them out, and I don't even remember who I messaged them to or not. With the entire house smell if you ferment indoors. No. It's just in the glass. It doesn't really smell. I mean, you don't let them, like, it's not like you're fermenting, like you're not turning them into sauerkraut or anything like that. And it's just a couple of days. The fermenting is just to kind of break down the seeds a bit. But yeah, just watch a few videos on it and just kind of, you know what, if it seems like it's too much work, then don't do it. And last year I just literally ran them through a strainer, soaked them for maybe a day. Ran them through the strainer and then just kind of used my hand in the fine mesh strainer and just kind of brushed everything off, put them on a piece of paper to dry out, and they did just fine. You free tomorrow, Rochelle? I can bring you on my live and put you, I am not, I am working tomorrow morning. So what time are you talking? The only problem with that is there are restrictions on shipping seeds overseas. So I know we are allowed to mail seeds to the US. I do not believe we are allowed to send seeds to Europe. I don't know about Australia. So that would definitely be something to talk about. 2:30 our time, I might be back. I'll let you know if I'm home by then. What the job is. That's my kind of thing. Yeah, James. Yeah, so I'm definitely a less is more kind of a person. Like, you can make gardening so hard. You can make it so difficult. You know, you can go out and you can give your tomatoes all these different things, and you can save everything in your blender and you put it in your thing and you baby it. And then there's someone else that's got, you know, this tomato that's growing out in the back 40 they didn't even know about and producing, right? So it's just do what you got to do. And if it becomes too difficult and it becomes too time consuming and you lose your joy, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't make any hobby, don't make anything that's supposed to be a stress reliever and supposed to be something that brings you joy. Don't make it too difficult. Don't put too many rules on it. Don't put too many restrictions on it. Don't say, oh, you know, I'm not going to have time to water my garden in the morning. We have to get up an extra hour early to go water my garden in the morning. No, I can go water my garden tonight. I know people say don't water it at night. Just don't get it on the leaves. You know what, rules, right? Like, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, right? So yeah, I've done that with the strainer. I will say the cucamelon seeds are kind of a pain in the butt. Jelly melons are the absolute worst to get off. Like, I was not saying nice things to those jelly melon seeds at the end of the time, trying to squish them out of there, right? So, you know, it's just like anything, right? Cooking or sewing or any hobby. Like, there's some people that just want to make things more difficult and add more rules on it. And it just becomes so oppressive that it just, you know what? If it works for you, it works for you. And you don't have to, you know, answer to anybody else for the way you do something, for the way you grow your plants, right? If you want to water at night, then you water at night if it works for you. If you're watering at night and you're having a mildew problem, then okay, maybe that's not a great idea. But if you're watering at night and your plants do great, water at night. Don't listen to the haters, right? So I think that pretty much covers it. I'm going to wrap up. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. But yeah, hopefully this was get you excited to start saving some seeds. So I'll also post a link down below to Jess's channel. Oh, one more thing. I do want to mention that she does talk about, especially, like, it doesn't really apply to flowers, but to fruits. When you are saving, vegetables, when you are saving, like, say, seeds from a zucchini, you want to let that zucchini get overripe on the vine, right? You don't want to pick it like you would when you're eating. You leave that zucchini on there until it goes yellow and gets big and fat and almost rotting. And then that's when you're going to get the best and most mature seeds off of that plant, right? So if you have a like a pepper that you're growing and you leave it on the vine, it's going to start to turn colors. You're going to want to wait until it gets into that really dark red or whatever, that color where it's overripe when you wouldn't even want to eat it. That's what you want to do to collect your seeds, right? tomatoes, like, it'll just rot. So tomatoes, when you can harvest them like when you're ready to eat. But things like peppers, don't harvest it green. If it will go red, you'll just get, I mean, you can, and people do it all the time, but technically you will just get a better, a healthier, more viable seed if you wait until it's like over ripened. So Jess goes through that on her video. So I will probably link that down below too, because that is great. I will be talking like each seed, and as I'm collecting seeds myself, I will be discussing, you know, how to know when they're ready. But, you know, if your seeds are ready to harvest before mine, which probably is quite likely, then you know what, go ahead. That's what YouTube is for. And if anyone here has any great videos of them collecting and harvesting seeds, then by all means share your links to your videos below too. So let's get the information out there, get the message out there, and get these seeds saved, because it's important work. There's a lot of interesting groups in the US that I've read up on that are, you know, trying to save some of these heritage seeds so that they don't get lost in the process. So anyways, I would like to say thank you to everyone. If you have any more questions, feel free to message me or email me or leave them in the comments below. Oh, another thing I did want to say really quick. I know that a lot of people are starting to sell their seeds over on, I believe it's called Flipside Marketplace. I can't remember the exact link. I can add that as well. And that's really exciting. So that's a lot of our YouTube friends and family, gardening family, that are starting to sell their seeds. So that's really exciting. So another thing that I think would be great is if you're thinking of maybe starting to sell seeds, but you're not sure if you're ready, do a swap this year. Do several swaps this year. You'll find out the viability of the seeds. You'll learn more about packaging, what information you should put on it, what kind of supplies you need, postage, the amount of time that's going to go and be consumed into actually packaging and sending things out. These are all things that you will not get firsthand knowledge of until you actually start to sell your seeds. And you might all of a sudden realize that, oh man, I wish I had known sooner everything that would go into doing this. So if you're planning on selling your seeds, then this joining in a nice big seed swap like this would be a great way to just kind of get your feet wet and to get your seeds out there and to get some feedback from people that you know and trust and say, hey, how did the seeds go? And they'll be like, dude, these sucked. You know, so if you send them out to 10 people and all 10 people have trouble germinating them, then maybe you shouldn't be selling those seeds yet. But if like one person has a problem, then you say, it's probably their problem. But more than likely, everyone's gonna be like, oh man, these were awesome, these are great. And then you're gonna have great feedback. And you can get people to comment on your store saying, oh, I grew these and they were great. So it'd be a nice reference as well. So, okay, now I'm finally done. I'm out. I have my video for my seed of the week, plant of the week seeds coming up tomorrow morning. And then my next live, I will be talking a bit more, touching up on any questions that might come from this live, and also talking more about seed banks, seed libraries, the importance of saving seeds, and, you know, different places that you might be able to find to donate your seeds to, different causes, different places, schools, things like that. So anyways, thank you so much. I appreciate you spending your Thursday evening with me, and good night, fam.